New tonight, negotiations are set to pick back up on Monday morning as the Boeing machinist strike enters its 23rd day. Now, some members of Congress are calling on the Department of Justice to file criminal charges against Boeing executives. This all comes as the ongoing strike rounds out its third week. Bridget Chavez with our Seattle sister station reports from the picket line near Boeing Field.
Boeing and the union will go back to the negotiating table on Monday morning. But now the company is facing even more scrutiny from members of Congress who sent this letter calling on executives to be criminally prosecuted. It is past time for DOJ to take action against corporate executives at Boeing who are responsible for putting passengers and workers at risk. Strong words from Senators Elizabeth Warren and Richard Blumenthal, who sent this letter to the Department of Justice. The 6-page letter details safety failures at Boeing, including 2 737 MAX 8 crashes that killed hundreds of people in 2018 and 2019, and the door plug that blew off an Alaska Airlines flight in January.
This letter from 2 U.S. senators is significant, but it's not a game changer.
Mark Lindquist is an attorney for several victims from these incidents.
My clients welcome this type of highly public support, but they're realistic about the fact that federal judges almost always accept plea deals that have been carefully worked out between the Department of Justice and a high-profile criminal defendant.
After the MAX 8 crashes, Boeing entered into a deferred prosecution agreement with the DOJ to avoid criminal charges. The DOJ says Boeing violated that agreement when the door plug blew off that 737 MAX 9 earlier this year. Boeing agreed last month to plead guilty to a single felony charge of conspiracy to commit fraud for deceiving regulators who approved the 737 MAX. Under that plea deal, Boeing would pay a fine of at least $243.6 million, invest $455 million in compliance and safety programs, and be placed on probation for 3 years. Next week, a federal judge will hear from victim families who, along with the senators, say criminal charges should be filed.
Victim families are going to take the opportunity to voice their objections to the proposed plea deal. We also have friends of the court, such as the U.S. senators, voicing their objection. The judge is going to hear all those objections, and then, well, it's up to the judge.
Lindquist says it will likely take a few days for the judge to make a final ruling and added that it's unlikely this will go to trial.
If the judge rejects the plea deal, the likely result will be Boeing and DOJ attempting to work out a different deal that will meet the judge's approval.
Boeing would not comment on the letter, but back in 2021, a former Boeing technical pilot was charged with fraud. However, they were acquitted on all charges by a jury. In Seattle, Bridget Chavez, King 5 News.